Hello, Internet, and welcome to Rough Drafts Competes, our Journey of Wrestling League. We are in the third and final weekly after the sixth pay per view of this competition. And while the scores here are decidedly in my favor at the moment, we have a huge silver pay-per-view coming up, and everybody in our competition this week is doing everything they can to set themselves up for the biggest night in next Thursday's stream. And of course, I am including my lovely co-announcer here, Xander. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing real good. Looking forward to some more Journey of Wrestling. No, everything's going great over here, so I'm excited to get into it.
Yes, I would like to believe that the low roll that we saw the last time we did one of your weeklies was a one-off that will never happen again, and we can just enjoy some good old-fashioned storytelling and a lot of
Listen,
shenanigans
J-
along the way.
Johnny Hangtime sat down with Mahin recently,
Hmm.
and they've come to an agreement, so shouldn't
Okay.
be a problem.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Well, hopefully, Eduardo, who has also had his fair share of bad luck throughout this competition, has also got a chance to talk, especially after that squash match in week one artificially kind of hampered his progress there. Though he did have a great week too. I believe he got 4.5 stars on the last weekly. And so he is definitely building up to make your choice and has quite the card for us today. So shall we jump on in?
Let's get on into it.
Absolutely. And it starts with a match between Phantom Troop and Lethal Tempo. This feud actually started a few months ago at Retaliation when Lethal Tempo defeated Phantom Troop and Bittersweet to secure the Guardianes del Pucara Femenino Championship. Lethal Tempo was able to hang on to it for about a month, I believe, before Bittersweet ended up winning it back. And Bittersweet to this day holds that particular belt. But Lethal Tempo, wants to get back to challenging for that title. And Phantom Troop, who held it for a very brief period of time and recently lost their feud against Bittersweet, wants to prove themselves as number one title contenders. Phantom Troop has won a tables match the last time that these two teams went head to head. So this is comfortable ground for Phantom Troop here. But Lethal Tempo is recharged. They have had a better overall record over the course of their history, even if they've had a couple tough losses recently. And they're hoping to take them on and earn their shot for the Guardianes del Bucara Femenino Championship as we get ready for Make Your Choice. Xander, between these two talented teams, who would you be giving the nod to today?
I'm giving it to Lethal Tempo. They need the win. They need the dub of any of the teams that are going to go back at this. I don't think it's going to be Phantom Troop. I think it's going to be Lethal Tempo. And tonight they start that climb right here.
I'm going to be honest with you. When Eduardo first put this match together, that was my expectation as well, because Lethal Tempo has the feud with Bittersweet and Phantom Troop. They just blew that off from a mechanics perspective. That's tough. But this one actually is going to Phantom Troop. And I imagine that this is giving Phantom Troop a bit of a boost so that Lethal Tempo, when overcoming them, perhaps gets an even nicer push up the card. Whatever Eduardo has planned, we are only speculating for now. It does seem to have gone well for Phantom Troop. A nice 2% overness increase, a nice morale increase, though Lethal Tempo, maybe the 5% morale hit has to sting a little bit. It is a 4.25 star match, and it is a holy shit moment with Keegan Cohen spearing Gina Akatani through the barricade. So, worth it, do you think, Xander?
No, because it makes me wrong. So no, no, it's a good match, and you get the holy shit moment. Of course, that's great. I will say though, I mean, Lethal Tempo taking 4 losses in a row, with where their morale is at, with how close to probably pushing at least one of those members over you are. I really hope they win the rest of these matches. Like I hope their next upcoming they go on a solid run. They get a chance at the belt. I think it's a great narrative. But Eduardo likes Phantom Troop. Phantom Troop's getting the dub.
Yeah. I also think that Lethal Tempo with Skull Dredson and Gina Akatani, right? Like, those are two wrestlers who have had some solo success. So I wonder how much that plays in. All we know for now is the Phantom Troop have gotten the win. They're going to be looking at making another run, theoretically, at Make Your Choice. So we'll see how that comes together. But here's a match. And Eduardo, when he made this, said, this is going to make Xander angry, which I love to see because Eagle's
No.
here. And we all know, Xander, you are famously an Eagle fan, a big supporter of his career, and wanting him to succeed, which is why you were so bummed when James Parker cost Eagle the Nova Championship title at Deadly Gambit, which is why Eagle wants revenge in this match. Well, James obviously wants to prove himself as a top contender. He's looking for his way into this championship match. And, you know, both of these guys wanting to get their shot came to Eduardo, and Eduardo has graciously given them a pull match with a title shot on the line. So with that, Xander, who do you think got the nod?
Listen, okay?
Uh-huh.
Listen,
Mm-hmm.
listen,
Mm-hmm.
listen.
I'm listening.
I wish that James Parker was a Buccaneer, because then we would know how the Eagles get absolutely crushed, embarrassingly. Okay? But alas.
I love that joke because Eduardo has
And
no idea what
Eduardo
you're
has
talking
no
about.
idea. I know. That joke was for me, you and Walter.
100%.
All right. And I love that it came about here. But right, if James Parker was a Buccaneer, okay, and Eduardo, you can look this up. If James Parker was a Buccaneer, all right, then Eagle would have no shot.
Uh-huh.
All right.
It's true.
But James Park, he's not a Buccaneer, all right?
No.
And judging by that outfit, he's looking like a Viking, all right? Now I'm not saying he is a Viking.
He's a fearless
superhero.
Yeah.
But
Look
you
his
know, he's
cape.
looking like Thor, and if I know anything, you know, the Vikings didn't make it to the playoffs this season, okay?
It's true.
So I think Eagles winning. I just want everyone to be clear. I am not happy about it. All right, you have a 1-9 face who's a 4-3, okay? 800 pop,
Yeah.
is gonna no longer be a main eventer, and Eduardo is giving Eagle the win just to upset me. Just to upset me. It's the only reason. There's no good reason here. All right.
Well, what if I told you there was a good reason? And that good reason is that James Parker's winning this match, not Eagle.
Oh my God! You set me. You baited me. Okay.
I did,
You baited me
100%.
so hard. All right.
100%. 100%.
Thank you,
I baited
Eduardo.
you.
Thank you, Eduardo. All right. Good. You get a holy shit moment. I reward you for a holy shit moment because Eagle got put through the announcing table. All right.
He
So
absolutely
of course, the fans love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I got baited. I'm coming up with all these things to say because of how upset I was, and I was trying to hide it internally. All right? Through comedy, as one does, instead of they turn their trauma into something people can laugh at.
Yeah, you're doing an Evangelion, but through humor. I appreciate it. But no, look, I did bait you, and I have no regrets because that was really funny. And it does lead to a 4-star match. Eagle can take the overness hit. I think he'll be just fine. I do love this gets James Parker in the Nova Championship at the Make Your Choice pay-per-view. So we will see what he does with it. Nice to have a 4-3 face climbing up the card here for sure. But we move on to a feud package here between Conrad Supernova and El Cuervo. They'll be feuding at Make Your Choice for the Toki Championship. Conrad Supernova, of course, held it for the first several months of this company. He held it well, multiple great defenses, 5+ star match defenses. But El Cuervo, with Wolverine-like regeneration, made his way back after an injury, immediately put Conrad down, and has been holding the title for the last couple months. So the question becomes, which one of them is going to grab the title? Which one of them is going to be on their way to becoming a face of the company? Because they are both over 1,000 popularity at this moment. And losing to one could put the other down underneath that threshold. So there's so much on the line, even beyond just bragging rights, the title and that face of the company status. And we will see which of these two end up getting the nod later on. It's a 3.5-star segment, but it does what it needs to do. And that's going to be one hell of a hype match when it gets to the pay-per-view.
Oh, it sure will. It sure will. 100%.
But we move on to a steel cage match between Ty Flaw and Brady Velasquez. Now, Ty Flaw got the last win in a street fight on Destination 2 weeks ago. But honestly, both of these wrestlers have been trying to make their climb up the card, right? They've had strong performances in prior feuds. They've both had their opportunities to prove themselves in singles play. Brady has perhaps struggled to get as many wins, but he got the one win that mattered with his feud blow off. So we are in this position where both of them want that chance, want to prove themselves, set themselves apart, and boost their way up the card so that they can start being in some of these title conversations. And they're going to do it in a steel cage. So given that, which of these two do you believe Eduardo's given the boost to tonight?
Yeah, again, two guys going at it, a lot of consistency here. I want to see Brady Velasquez get the win, though. 0-4, very talented wrestler. I understand the appeal of Ty Flaw, and I know he's been putting Ty Flaw to the moon, so if he gives him the win, I get it, but I want to see Brady get the win here.
Well, you're hoping for the dawn of Lucha Libre with the power of the Phoenix School of Coaching at his side. And I have to tell you, you are right. It is a Brady Velasquez win. It is a 4-star match. Ty Flaw, the very minorest of hits. But look at that. 3 matches, 3 holy shit moments as Brady Velasquez hits Ty Flaw with a frog smash off the top of the cage. A really profitable card. Maybe none of the high rolls that you would hope for in terms of match rating, but certainly high rolls when it comes to funding this particular weekly and making sure that everything's getting at least a little bit of a boost on the feud perspective. So, well done overall here, and we will see how far the Dawn of Lucha Libre can get in this company.
Hell yeah. Let's go, Big Dawn.
But we move on now to a ambulance match between Cameron Johnson and Dywick Damerla. These guys have been feuding for a couple months now, and they are in a 1-1 record against each other in one-on-one fights. They've obviously been in a couple group fights, which is why neither of them have a win in their latest match. But each of them has proven they can beat the other. They're also both very similar styles of wrestlers, both technical fighters using grapples and submission moves, trying to keep their opponent down and control the fight step by step. The one real difference between them is that Dywick Damerla is a member of the Rising Sun with El Tigre de Neon, the master of the School of the Crab fighting style in his corner, while Cameron Johnson is a valuable member of the House of Hardcore and is willing to go a little bit more intense, a little more brutal to make that technical fighting get over the edge. So the question is, between these two very talented wrestlers here, Xander, who is getting the nod tonight?
If I got to choose between Cameron and Dywick, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. I like both of these. Eduardo, I'm not sure if he subscribes to the same school of thought as Walter, but Walter, I can hear screaming that if Cameron Johnson doesn't win this, ambulance matches are ruined. So with that being said, I'm giving it to Dywick Damerla.
You are rooting for the chaos and for Walter to lose his mind, and you know what? Yep. It's a good bet. Dywick Damerla is winning this match. It is a 5-star match with a good psychology bonus, so you love to see it. And you love to see the level up for the ambulance match. It will have a higher rating boost moving forward, which means it is now ready to be utilized with precision at Make Your Choice. We will see if any matches utilize that extra bonus, but at the very least, a 5-star match here on this card, a very nice play for Eduardo, and he has to be feeling very good about that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And now we have our main event package, which is building up for a match between Amber Manning and Layla Abelos. Now, somebody in this call may or may not have influenced Eduardo's decision on who to have the belt go to at the last pay-per-view. And this is going to be the first time we see the aftermath of that. It is unfortunately a little bit of a low roll here. No negative from Philip Keller, but just an overall effectiveness roll.
Hey,
Not going the way you want.
Philly, check PayPal.
Check PayPal. Yeah, I mean, it gets the main event package a little bit more experience, one more at that quality, and it will be a silver segment, which I'm sure will go a long way. But yeah, as it stands, something that will hopefully be safely dropped and moved on from. But we have quite the match here, Xander. It is a blow off match, and I triple checked to make sure that this went through before we started. So the game is trolling if anything else happens here. It is between Caden Lee and Jason Styles. Now, Jason Styles is the leader of the House of Hardcore. He needs to defend his crew. He needs to prove that the House of Hardcore is the best faction in this company, that his Psycho Circus are a threat to be reckoned with. And of course, Caden Lee wants nothing to do with that, right? He's a member of the Rising Sun. He is, he's got El Tigre de Neon in his corner. He doesn't want to join the dark side that is this House of Hardcore, right? He wants to maintain his role, and maybe he can show Jason Styles that there's a better path, right? That you don't need to be this evil clown that is trying to terrorize the rest of this this company. You can be more than this, Jason. You can join us and El Tigre Neon. He can teach you what it means to be a true wrestler, a true luchador. You just have to be willing to join us. And it has come to a head tonight. One of these people will be changing sides. Xander, who's getting the win?
Oh man. This is really, really difficult. I'm just gonna say, Kaden Lee debe ganar porque es el mejor luchador de todos los tiempos. All right. And because of that, I gotta give it to Caden.
You gotta give it to Caden. I appreciate that energy. However, Jason Styles is a faction leader, my dude, and the faction leader is not going anywhere. That is a 4 3/4 star match. It is a hot match, I believe, because both of these participants gained popularity from it. Sure did. And Caden Lee has been forced to join the Carnival of Carnage. What does that mean for the Rising Sun? Well, it means they lose their leader. I forgot. Are these both leaders? Oh yeah. No. I didn't realize that Caden Lee was the faction leader for Rising Sun.
And it's really sad because, Jason Styles es un payaso. So giving him the win here is just it's not good.
It's very good for Carnival of Carnage. They're getting a big reputation boost. But yeah, Rising Sun taking quite the reputation hit, which is deeply unfortunate. It is one of those, you make these feuds early on, and then you realize at some point that the consequences do indeed happen, and you hope that the story is built to handle it at this point. We will see what this means for the Rising Sun. We will see what this means for Caden Lee. Is he going to be able to keep working with El Tigre de Neon? Who is going to become the new leader of the Rising Sun? So many questions to be answered here, and we will have to just stay tuned. We'll see if they're answered at Make Your Choice, or if we're going to have to see at the next set of weeklies how these things play out, because that is quite the consequence that is played out in front of our very eyes here tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Indeed.
Oh my goodness. Well,
Carnival of Clowns doing some clapping.
The House of Hardcore stays winning, it would appear. Well, we'll see how this goes as we move forward to Razor Jackson versus Kenneth King. Kenneth King, of course, they haven't
give Kenneth a win, man.
I mean, look, Kenneth's been trying, right? They've had a couple matches before, trying to set themselves apart. Razor Jackson has won both of their individual one-on-one matches back in April when they were first fighting. But one of those was a pole match, and Eduardo said, look, we need more competitors for the Nova Championship. Whichever one of you can give yourself a win here, very much elevates you in that conversation and gives you the
It's
opportunity to compete.
it's gonna be Razor Jackson. He's too close to falling from being over. It's got to be Razor Jackson, unfortunately. But Kenneth, man, Kenneth needs a win. I mean, maybe it's a hot match, and Kenneth gets that main event status anyway, despite being 0-7. Maybe that's my dream here. But
See,
it's a Razor Jackson win.
well, as we both know, right? Eduardo's answer to, but what if things go wrong, is they won't, right? And so the question is, does he have more faith in
He
Razor
hasn't
Jackson
done that
not losing
recently though,
overness?
because he got burned on. He got burned on it. One of the times was my fault. So,
That is true. That is true. But
so
in this
I
case,
actually think.
it's Team Kenneth.
Oh, really?
Kenneth gets the win. Razor Jackson does not drop any overness. It is a 4 and
Oh,
3/4
good.
star
Okay,
match.
good, good.
They are both now in the main event, and it is a holy shit moment as Kenneth King
Yep.
got up for Razor Jackson's finisher before asking him to hit another, which gives a nice additional boost.
Hey, Eduardo's
there.
getting them holy shit moments tonight. And I'll be honest, I've only influenced one of them so far. The rest of them are all in his own merit. So good job, Eduardo.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be well over 600 creativity points heading into the next pay-per-view. And we should all be terrified of that because he has a few very expensive but very powerful gimmick matches that he can break out here. But we go to our main event of the night, the Campeonato Cuyan Championship between Amber Manning and Layla Abalos. Layla Abalos, she was too pretty to lose, right? She was too big to fail. And then Amber Manning, through sheer persistence, right? Amber Manning lost 4 times in a row, but she kept demanding more matches, more opportunities. Layla never took her seriously. And at Deadly Gambit, Amber finally overtook Layla, got the belt. It was a huge moment for her, but Layla was pissed because she's too pretty to not be a title holder. She's too pretty to lose to a volleyball player like Amber Manning. That's not an acceptable result. We have seen Layla try to fight her way back up over the popularity threshold to be a face of the company with the video package we got. So the question becomes, is this Layla getting her revenge, or does Amber Manning maintain her role as the Campeonato Cuyan champion?
I think it's got to be Amber Manning retaining. I really do. She just got it. She's you want to push her to face of the company status. I think no, like I think that's the move. And I love Layla. I have for the majority of her time in the promotion rooted for her. But I think Amber Manning's taking the win tonight.
Mm-hmm. I do think obviously if you could do it back over again, Layla might still be champion. This match might be a little bit different, but as it stands, you're absolutely right. Amber has to win this match. It is a huge overness boost for her. Her continuing to defend this title is going to do a lot for her popularity in this company. It's a 4 3/4 star match. So he is duplicating the second highest result he's gotten for the night. And Layla Abalos still at 1,000, right? As long as Layla doesn't lose any more points at the pay-per-view, this can still go the way that she wants. The Amber Manning gimmick is now more over, and look at this, another holy shit moment as Amber Manning suplexes Layla Abalos into a ladder. Yeah, I mean, it's a big one, right? And we see being in the main event, having this feud, the quality of champion and challenger, all of this giving some nice points to the Campeonato Cuyan Championship. And that's going to lead to a 4.5 star card. Well done, Eduardo.
Solid job, Eduardo. Solid job.
Yeah, I mean, I think, if you take away the squash match early on in this weekly set, I think he's very much challenging me for the title here. You have to be feeling good about the big wins that you got. I am so curious what he has in mind when we are talking about the state of the Rising Sun and the House of Hardcore now that this headhunting feud has been blown off. There are a lot of changes that are going to need to be made to both of those factions to get them where they need to be. But it will be great to see, and I'm very excited to see how some of these storylines play out and make your choice. Any final thoughts on your end, Xander?
Oh, I thought he put together a really solid card. I mean, this was a good, he and I both had some stuff go wrong this week that I think we're both, either right behind you or even tied with you, if those things go, the way that he and I would have wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I think he set himself up nicely for the pay-per-view. Obviously, I'm really happy that Eagle lost first and foremost, and I'm excited to see what else he's got coming up.
Yeah, well, I'm also excited to see what Walter has coming up for us right now. Walter's been Mr. Consistency. I think a 4.25 score at each of these weeklies. He's trying to push this one over the edge, get the hype going for Heat Wave, which is the next pay-per-view for the Stamford Wrestling Alliance. And we've got quite the show ahead of us. We have a few different segments that are going to really, I think, change the balance of some of these storylines we've been seeing. So let's get into it with, and hold on, I'm getting word here that Cobra Gaston has hijacked the broadcast before the show has even begun. We are cutting to a dinner at the Gaston family. Viper, of course, still living at home with his parents while Cobra has gotten to move out thanks to all of the success from his title defenses over the last few months. And Cobra has come back to dinner and is just railing into Viper, talking how he's sick and tired of his brother's failures. Viper, how can Viper even say he deserves to be a part of this family when you're not able to do things, just win these basic matches when you cost me my only loss in this company? Like, unacceptable. And Viper, of course, gets very mad about that. And slaps Cobra across the face, at which point Cobra beats the shit out of him. Just absolutely just beats the tar out of the guy right in front of their family. It is a family feud. It's got to be tough to watch for the parents. You see both parents, mom and dad, looking absolutely shocked. Livia is just absolutely loving it, giving her boyfriend all of the praise for being willing to do what needs to be done and putting Viper in his place. And that is a 3 3/4 star home invasion arc, which, given Viper's charisma, I think is a pretty good role.
Oh no, I think it's massive. Considering the situation, that's exactly what you like to see.
Yeah. I do like brawling in front of his family when the two of them are brothers is very funny. But yeah, I mean, good stuff there. We will see Cobra. I mean, Cobra's got his title defense. We will see if he continues to accelerate his path up the card and maybe even become a face of the company with the way that he has been wrestling recently. But we move on now to a 4-way tag match between Neon Wings, Prodigious, the Prophets, and Pocket Rocket. Each of these factions have their own feuds with each other. Pocket Rocket and Neon Wings have been going back and forth for a bit. Neon Wings and Prodigious have had their high-flying matches. The Prophets and Pocket Rocket, there is no love lost between those two factions. But, each of them have their pros and cons, right? Neon Wings, were in the same faction as Down Under. We're going to have a title match before Hollywood Bound interrupted and started the chain of events that led to Hollywood Bound being the current champions. Neon Wings would love to get revenge for that. Prodigious have been climbing up the rankings, right? D'Angelo Starr, Jordan Wolf have had some single success to go along with some of these tag matches that they've been in. And while this record doesn't look as good, you have to remember that they wrestle as a trio called Prodigy a lot of the time that has done significantly better. The Prophets, of course, Enlightened Cruz, Guru Sanji, still looking for their first win, but they're very talented, and Walter would love to get some overness on these guys, maybe get them into being 4-3s rather than 3-2s. And then Pocket Rocket, I mean, Leonard Ace and Trevor Ace, you can see the morale here. You can see how great it would be for them both to be 4-4s rather than just one of them being a 4-4. The Aces Amanda Ace has been getting some love, and maybe this is the moment that Leonard and Trevor get the love that they need as well. So 4, I think, very interesting options for different reasons, Xander. Which would you pick in this spot, and who do you think Walter picked?
Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of these folks here, of course. Even though I rooted against Prodigious last time, I do like their identity within the promotion. I like the idea of them getting a win here. Tyson Morriso, of course, being a pretty prolific force in this promotion that Walter's got running here. Um, the Profits also could be a good angle. I know there's a lot of love for Neon Wings. They look cool. They sound cool. Something that's been discussed quite a bit. They're young. And, Pocket Rocket are very talented as well. I think a lot of these folks would benefit, of course, from a win here. In my opinion, I would be narrowing it down to two. I would be narrowing it down to Prodigious and Pocket Rocket. I'm
Okay.
ignoring Neon Wings here. I'm ignoring the Profits, okay? I'm looking exclusively at Prodigious and Pocket Rocket. And right now, the idea of giving Pocket Rocket the win is the biggest to me. I like Prodigious. I like them a lot. I think them going to 0-4 with how good they are is a bit criminal. But I understand they've served a purpose. That being said, Pocket Rocket really need a morale boost here. And I think this win puts them with should put them with high enough morale that you can do whatever you want with these four for at least a couple matches after and everything's fine. But whenever I see someone, it's like a group at 68%, right? And they are close to being at that like main event level, between the two of them. That's who I'm giving it to here. They're tag team specialists. They're big match specialists. Give it to Pocket Rocket.
So I understand your theory here, and I do see the argument for it. I pointed out the morale and the overness, and I think you could make that case. However, Walter's here for the narrative. And of these four of these four tags, I should say, there is one who has a much more personal grudge with Hollywood Bound, and that would be the Neon
Congrats,
Wings.
Neon Wings. Yep.
Yep, there
Yep,
it is.
that's what I said. Yep.
It's a 4.25 star. You ruled out Neon Wings. You can't say that's what I said. That's not.
No, it is what I said. I said that I know Walter loves Neon Wings, and that I literally said that's. I said who I would give it to. This is I literally said Walter would probably give it to Neon Wings.
I think the reasoning here is a little bit more than just liking Neon Wings. I think for the narrative, they've got to get revenge for Down Under, right? Those were their faction brethren losing the title, and Neon Wings not doing what they could to protect them. I think it makes a ton of sense here. Pocket Rocket, I'm sure, would love to get some more love and need some more love, right? Dropping to 67% morale here is going to be a little tough, but we'll see what Walter has in mind for the pay-per-view. We know that there is a tag tournament he wants to do at some point. I don't believe it is at Heatwave, but sooner rather than later, we're going to be seeing these tags go head-to-head in a much more traditional tournament format, and we'll see what his plans for Pocket Rocket are then. But we have to move on to the SWA World Championship. Wait, this early in the card? Yes, this early in the card. Christopher Devlin versus Chase. Chase, of course, Devlin has squashed this man in the past, right? And Chase has been trying to climb his way back up the card after such a tough loss. He was originally the guy who was like the third man in a lot of 3v3 matches and proved himself bit by bit. But then, of course, he was beaten up. He was attacked. He was kidnapped at one point, just absolutely mentally broken down. And Devlin put the squash on the guy. It is honestly amazing that Chase is still here, willing to fight, willing to put his best on the line. But Devlin, he's got a submission match going here. He's going to try to keep this gifted acrobat in Chase to the ground and just try to knock him out, put the hurt onto Chase, and remind everyone why Devlin is the world champion, the hitman of the SWA. Xander, do you think there's any chance that Chase could pull off the upset on a weekly?
Nope.
Interesting. Yeah, no, this is Devlin for sure. But it's a 5.5 star
match. Why is this not the final match? What do we have going on in the final here that this is not the final is what I want to know.
It is a great question.
You have your gold belt on the third match. Walter's talking to me about wrestling fundamentals, and you're doing a gold belt You're doing one of your top belts as the third match of the night on a weekly?
See, here's the thing, though.
This is the guy lecturing me?
Okay. There is a thing that needs to be pointed out. A couple of things that need to be pointed out. First, this feud went hot, so they are now the overness and boost for each of them is going to be substantial moving forward. The chance to have hot matches and segments going to be very helpful in that long run. But it's important to know both of these wrestlers bled, right? Chase making Christopher Devlin bleed is a win. And I think Devlin, how dare you make me bleed my own blood here, has perhaps gone a little bit too far. And it looks like Chase has been knocked unconscious in a submission move. The ref tried to get Devlin off after giving him the win, and he just kept going. Someone needs to help this man. And who is it but Tyler Dynamite, who recently turned face, who recently was kicked out of Dominatus Tenebris by Christopher Devlin. And he is going to come in and save Chase from Devlin. Lays Devlin out, and Devlin and Assassino obviously shuffle their way out of there lest they be attacked too hard by Tyler after the match that Devlin just went through. And Tyler makes sure that Chase gets out of there safe and sound. So, obviously Chase and Tyler have not interacted before. Tyler is not a member of the Lads, but this is the way that perhaps a new partnership could be formed. We'll have to see what this means, if this is just Tyler hating Devlin or if Tyler and Chase have more in common than meets the eye. But it is a very nice moment, and another great example of how Tyler turning face has opened up some narrative opportunities.
And I maintain my No, this is a really cool segment, though. This is actually a sick segment.
And that's you can't do a gold belt as the last belt of the night and have an after-match attack. That's the answer. There has to be something after
but
it.
There's like 5 matches after this, no?
I mean, that's true. That is true.
Yeah?
But
okay, cool. Oh, no, we're just on the same page. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. All right. It's cool. It's great. It's good even. And I can't wait for the next time Walter lectures me. He will never hear the end of this. Match attack, game mechanics, blah, blah, blah. Sure. Yeah. Third match of the night. Okay. Got it. Man. Got it.
Nice half-star production bonus, by the way.
Good job, Muhammad Fox. Well done.
Fox, yeah. That is interesting, though, that this was 100% effectiveness, which implies the best it was going to be able to do otherwise was 3.75, even though they're both 4-4 competitors. I wonder if that's just these segments just need a little bit more love before they can have a maximum effect. Yeah, that's interesting to keep in mind. But hey, 4.25 star, feeling pretty good, especially after a 5.5 star match.
For your third match of the night. Yeah, that's excellent. It's really good
stuff. For the third match of the night. But we have another match here. This is Brooklyn Cambrille versus Raven. The big one here is that the Eternum versus the Kingdom has been a feud for a while now. And Brooklyn, she has, she's looking for a higher tier of competition, right? She'd been feuding with Jessie Mallory, but Jessie Mallory has been a no-show on recent SWA primetime matches. So, if Jessie isn't, bold enough, brave enough to challenge the supreme deity Brooklyn Cambrille, well, Brooklyn needs to fight somebody new, somebody perhaps better, a real challenge for Brooklyn. And that's where Raven comes in, right? Raven, we thought of her as a manager. She certainly does manage a few other wrestlers in this company for within I believe she's the Kingdom. I'm not. Oh yes, yeah, Drew King. Of course, she's the Kingdom. So she just beat several female wrestlers 2 weeks ago. She has proven that she is a glorified badass, that while she hasn't had a lot of time in the ring, she knows how to make the most of it when she gets it. And with this, there is no gimmick here. It's just the Mildred S. Robinson Cup on the line. Xander, who's getting the dub?
Yeah, I mean, you said a lot of stuff there just because, I don't know. I mean, Brooklyn wins. It's obvious. It's there's a 0% chance Raven wins. Who cares about her? She's a loser. All right, it's Brooklyn.
See, it's funny that you say that because it turns out this is a time limit draw. Now, Brooklyn does get the advantage of that when it is a title match like this. But she's not happy losing to someone lower on the card like Raven, but still happy enough. Raven getting a big morale boost. It's a 4-star match. That penalty not particularly huge. And it does give both of them a little bit of a popularity boost there. I always find it interesting to play around with some of these match finishes. I hope that the morale boost and Raven not losing points there was worth the 50 creativity points. But a no contest here, I mean, from a narrative perspective, I mean, this is proof that perhaps Brooklyn has bitten off more than she can chew. Raven is a fierce competitor, and that greatest wrestler feud is going to be one to watch moving forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But we have a bit of a stare down in front of us here. Empress Kabuki is talking backstage with her manager, Talia Adler, about how she doesn't have any meaningful opponent. She just fought Totsuno Funa Sentai and shut that faction down. They no longer exist because 3 of them were not enough to take on the Empress Kabuki. Nobody is on my level. And who hears her say this but one Angelina Cardinal? And Angelina has been working her way up for a while, and she doesn't even say anything. She just lets Empress Kabuki talk her trash and gets right up in her face. They are inches apart as they stare each other down, making it very clear this is the match at Heatwave that everyone is going to be looking for. And we will see whether Angelina Cardinal can be the one to finally unseat the Empress at Heatwave.
I love these segments. I really do. I love these segments that Walter's doing. Like I am genuinely, Walter, I hope you know I'm taking notes. You're changing the game for all of us. And good luck. Good luck. I'm stealing this shit.
Wow, there we go. I mean, it's a great 4.25 star. I got to be feeling good.
No,
about
these are awesome.
Yeah,
these are all so good. The aftermatch attack, the stare down. Oh, I can't wait to yoink some of these and use them in a way that will upset Walter. I'm so excited. It's going to be so much fun when he's like, why are you doing this at this time in this way? And I'll be like, because. And he'll be like, fair enough.
How dare you? Yep.
Yeah,
it'll be great.
Yep. I can't wait.
But you know what else I can't wait for? Is that we have a match at Heatwave that has been announced, a tournament short, right? That since that split between the 2 factions, the civil war that came from Ethan Wilde splitting off, tired of God, why do I always get Daniel Stevenson mixed up? I'm right on that, right? It is Daniel Stevenson.
Yeah, it's Daniel Stevenson. I was gonna mess you up even harder.
Yeah, I just get the fucking Brian. You know what I'm getting confused by?
Daniel Stevenson.
Yes, Steven Danielson for sure.
Daniel Stevenson.
Daniel Stevenson. Yes. Well, the moral of the story is that he is very upset with Daniel Stevenson for getting in his way, for not being willing to step down and let the true champion of the faction get in. And so the civil war has been going back and forth for a while. And Walter said, look, y'all need to settle this out in the ring, and I can't think of anything better than a 4v4 match at Heatwave. Short, all 4 members are going to be on one side. Eternum gets to pick their 4. And the Killer said, like, look, we want to be able to pick the gimmick for this match, because Eternum gets to pick which members they're sending since they have more than 4. And Walter goes, well, I mean, that sounds fair. And AR-60's like, hell no. We should be able to wrestle the Killers tonight, and the winner of an elimination match between our 2 tags gets to determine who chooses the gimmick for the 4v4 match at Heatwave. And Walter says, that sounds even better. Match delivered. It is an elimination civil war match between the Killers and AR-60. The winner of this match chooses the gimmick for the 4v4. And we will see. The question, of course, Xander, is have the Killers being alongside Ethan Wilde for all this time, have they learned what needs to be done to secure a win? Or does AR-60, Algenico, and M60 perhaps sneak their way into a victory, which would be the first in the history of this tag.
Oof. Oof. You know what? I could see it being very spicy for AR60 to get the win, and so that is what I'm rooting for here.
Okay. You like the spice of AR60 getting the win. And
I do.
look, the Killers, they've been confident, right? They've been hanging out with Ethan Wild for so long, but the conniving and smart AR60 are able to utilize that overconfidence, secure a nice 5-star match here, a hot match that increases the overness of both of these competitors,
Well
both of
done.
whom, certainly it never hurts to have that extra bit of overness there. And it is a 5-star match. And AR60,
Big.
they're asked, so what's the gimmick? And AR60 says, look, we need to settle this. There will be no running away. There will be no getting out of the hurt that is coming to you short, because we are going to a steel cell match. So we'll see a 4v4 steel cell match between a tournament short at Heatwave. You're not going to want to miss it. This is going to be a grand old time. And that's really what this event package is all about, right? Amelie does give a little bit of a producer bonus, even if the role isn't that great. But it's just focusing on the Empress Kabuki, Angelina Cardinal, all these matches that we have seen play their way out over the course of this weekly, all coming together into this very hype package for a pay-per-view that the fans have to be stoked for. But we have quite the final match here. You said what could possibly be the final match, given that we had a gold championship belt early on. Well, this is Assassino and Tyler Dynamite. Assassino is, of course, pissed because Tyler Dynamite attacked Devlin tonight when Assassino had his back turned. He's like, I'm not finished with you. You can't treat my boss that way. And Devlin's like, yeah, take care of this guy. You can't let him get away with that, can you? And so Assassino is here to do Devlin's dirty work once again. Tyler Dynamite not afraid to go up against Assassino. And he has obviously, since making the face turn, done well for himself. This is a huge match here in terms of its implications. Which of these two do you think is getting the nod?
Yeah, I think Tyler Dynamite is going to win. I'm just going to say good luck using him at the pay-per-view because he's going to be tired.
I mean, luckily, I don't know if the aftermatch attack actually increases fatigue because it's a segment. I imagine.
Regardless, this sure will.
This sure will. But here's the thing. It turns out there's going to be a bit of a distraction because Tyler Dynamite is not the only person with a grudge against Assassino. Axel Dust comes down to the ring and distracts Assassino long enough for Tyler Dynamite to get the win. It's an unsanctioned match, right? So there's nothing that stops Axel Dust from coming in and making his presence known. And, Tyler, it's like, I have no connection with you. I didn't realize, sure, this match was going tough for me, but I wasn't, I'll take it, fine by me if it means we get to put Assassino in the dirt. And it is a 4.5-star match. It would have been a 5 had it not been for the distraction. We knew that was going to come with a match penalty, and being willing, this is something I deeply respect from Walter, right? Because from a gameplay perspective, you would never want to add a negative match finish to the last event of a card, because obviously you're doubling that match no matter what, right? So you want to make sure you're not doing anything to take away points. But in narrative, right, this match can't happen before Tyler Dynamite attacks Christopher Devlin. And it has to be a close here because Axel Dust coming out and forming this pseudo alliance against Assassino, this idea that Axel is not finished with Assassino and there is more that will need to play out between these two. That's a closing moment. And it leads to, we look at event package.
And it also leads to his only holy shit moment.
It did lead to his only holy shit moment. Tyler Dynamite kicking out of Assassino's finisher. It's a nice boost for him. Luckily, Walter had quite a few creativity points. His cards always cost a little bit less than the rest of us. But we're going to see.
Over what,
It is a
4.5?
4.5-star card. So, I mean, and like I said, it could have been higher, right? Very easily, you could have gamified this to get a better in-game result. And Walter's like, no, I'm trusting the storytelling. I'm putting in the work. I'm doing things my way. And I think he's finally starting to figure out how to make the game work for him. So congratulations there, Walter, on a very
Good job,
nice
Walter.
card tonight.
Love the packages. I'm gonna steal them all. Thank you.
Well, speaking of you potentially stealing some things and getting your own card together here, Xander, it is time for the Glory of Legends Wednesday night triumph. What can fans expect from tonight's card?
Yeah, listen. After we got absolutely shafted in the ratings last week, we're going a different direction, and we're pushing narrative for the pay per view. We want to build some folks up. We want to tear some folks down. We want to bring in some new feuds, some hot feuds. Get a lot of stuff going here.
Absolutely. Let's see what this card has in store, and it starts with a new blood segment.
It sure does.
Yeah, and now, Xander, some folks at home might be saying to themselves, "Huh, I thought Danny Cole was already in Brigantia Rising."
Yeah.
What happened here, buddy?
Well, let's see. What happened here is that when we ported the game over, Danny Cole was like, "I need to just take a few moments to myself and utilize the restroom real quick." And while that was happening, the data happened to miss out on Danny Cole being with this faction, and so Danny had to arrive late to the paperwork didn't get filed properly. Okay, so the registration for being in Brigantia after they ostensibly moved locations, right? We're at the new facility. It's bigger. It's better. But Danny Cole's paperwork it didn't get filed with everyone else. And so, this is really just a correction of the record, getting Danny Cole registered as they should be as a member of Brigantia Rising. So Danny Cole's in Brigantia Rising, surprising everyone. We're all, whoa, wow, yay.
I mean, here's the thing. As I told you, I saw this as an opportunity heading in, and I think it pays off as one. It's a 4.5-star segment. It increased overness for all of the members of Brigantia Rising. It gave an 18 popularity boost for the 3 that were in already, and it gave Danny Cole a 12 popularity boost. So
yeah, listen, I'll take free popularity and overness as a result of the game making an oopsie. That's probably the first time that we've benefited from one of those things happening. So I'll take it.
We absolutely will. But we also have to take. I mean, this is one of those. Rundar segment feud is a fascinating one. What led to this Burgundy Bandits Love Hurts matchup?
Yeah, listen, Burgundy Bandits, the new faction or the new tag team here from Konodo Karius after the last match that between Love Hurts and these two members that elected to form their new tag team immediately following. And that segment was ruined. Love Hurts after losing the match, they were throwing things at the producers, and it caused the segment to be the most stale segment in the history of any promotion that had happened yet. And because of that, Burgundy Bandits want revenge. They said, "Hey, we're talented wrestlers, okay? And our segment would have been super hype after we whooped y'all, but you guys caused that to go poorly. So we're gonna make sure that we put you in your place today. We're gonna do what we do. All right, we're gonna come. We're gonna strike hard. We're gonna strike fast. We're gonna take everything you guys own, and we're gonna ride out into the night before you know what hit you." Meanwhile, Love Hurts are saying, "I don't know what you guys are talking about. We wrestled. We went off and did our own thing. We didn't get in the way of your segment. Your segment fell flat because of you guys. Why are you involving us in this?" And they're really just here reminding everyone, "Hey, we're the new face faction to beat. Don't forget about us. All right, we're the ones representing the lower end faces in the most positive light. We have been a bright spot on an otherwise really ugly lower mid card, lower end card. And we're ready to push those main eventers. Matt Payne, Love Hendricks, we've been in those big matches before, and now we're going to start winning them. But we got to be able to beat these heels first.
Yeah, this is one you feel like you'd have to win if your love hurts. You're so close on that overness threshold. If you want to prove that you are the people to beat in this upper mid card, this is your moment to do it. But I mean, from what I have written down, I believe you have some more in mind for the Burgundy Bandits here.
Kanoto Karius are just too good right now. These guys are moving, and much to everyone's surprise, they're beating people that on paper they should really lose to. Their performances are stellar, their moves are clean, and you can see everyone's loving it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at that. It is a 4.5 star, excuse me, but it's a hot match. 5% overness boost and a nice popularity here. Love Hendricks now over with the fans. I believe that makes him a 4-3. Cassidy is over with the fans. I think that makes
I
him
actually
a 4-3.
think Love Hendricks goes to a 4-4. I'm not. I'd have to double check on that though.
He may be. I couldn't remember if it was Matt Payne or Love that was the one of them is a 3-3, one's a 3-2. But either way, I mean, Love Hendricks getting over is huge. Cassidy getting over
regardless,
is huge.
it's a big thing.
Both
and Cassidy,
of them.
Yes.
Look at their factions. That's a huge boost. Kanoto Karius. And both of them, it's their faction leader getting over, right? Which gives even more of a multiplayer. We are going to see more and more, especially as this feud plays out, a potential rise in the standings here. Really good stuff overall. Gotta be happy with how that match ended up.
Oh yeah, no, listen. These lower mid carders for us have a lot of importance, and you're going to see more and more of their talent shine as we continue. And that being said, Gloria Gold is coming up. All right, and we wanted to highlight that. The entire outline for Glory of Gold. This is the pay-per-view. All right, where people don't just get the thing that you're most used to. All right, which is again glory. Right, taking home the wins, taking home the fame. But Glory of Gold, you folks haven't seen it yet, but this is traditionally where folks make money. Okay, and so that's something to keep in mind when you're coming into this upcoming pay-per-view match.
Got it. We will have to see if the big bucks pay off for some of these top competitors. But we move on now. Love Hendricks, after the loss, having to rally for a special referee match between Rich Larson and Animal Fukuoka. Tell me, how did this match come together?
Yeah, so, Animal Fukuoka, like I said, has been taking on absolutely everybody he can. This guy is, he's been a menace so far in the promotion. He is 1-1 after his loss last week. But, we have this new talented wrestler who we just want to use as much as possible. And because he's been so motivated, demonstrating that talent over and over again, we were looking for another person to throw him up against. And Rich Larson is another one of those guys. Like Gavin Evans, who is currently not in the faction. And Animal Fukuoka has been targeting them, okay? He came to us and said, listen, I know I'm new. I know that I shouldn't be making demands, but I have designs on this promotion. I have designs on how I can represent you folks as positively as possible, okay? And it's something that I know what I'm doing. Trust my method. And give me someone else that isn't in a faction currently. And, we sat down and we looked at it, and Johnny, of course, had to weigh in, and he said, give him Rich. Mm-hmm. And Rich, more than happy to take the match. Rich wants an opportunity to prove himself. When you look at Rich, you see, right, if you don't mind hovering over him real quick for me here. When you look at Rich, he is 0-6 right now. He desperately wants a win. He wants an opportunity to get over. He is so close to being a guy, that could be in some top matches. But he just, up until now, has not had an opportunity. And he's been in a lot of faction matches where being factionless was an absolute detriment. And right here, on top of that, we have a member, right, Love Hendricks, who wants to kind of put a stop to what Animal Fukuoka is doing. And maybe recruit someone like Rich Larson who would fit in really nicely with them. So, Love Hendricks said, hey, give me an opportunity to come put my thumb on the scale. I won't stop these guys from having a great match. But if there's an opportunity here for me to do the thing that benefits Young Revolution the most, I want to do it. And Bright Future.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a Rich Larson prove-it match, right? Like, if
Yep.
you want to have a spot in a faction, I'm right here. Prove that you deserve to join. Prove that you have what it takes. And unfortunately for Rich, he is a 2-3, and Animal is a 3-2. And I know of the two of those which I like to use more, and which you like to use more. So I'm gonna guess that this is Animal continuing to wreak havoc here. Is that right?
So I will say that this match is very close. All right.
Mhm.
It's very close, surprisingly close. Okay. But just when it seems like Rich Larson's going to do it, Animal uses that animal prowess and
Mhm.
comes out on top. Okay. And I will say that, oh, wow, that match did not go well, which is fine.
No.
It's understandable because Rich is a 2-3. But I will say, all right, that there is a big reason why. It's funny, too, because we got a holy shit moment. But there's a big reason why Love Hendricks wanted to be here. And now Rich Larson has to genuinely consider himself, is it time for me to join a faction? And if I do, Love Hendricks is a very respectable guy and someone who's running one of the strongest factions in my section of the promotion. Maybe this is what I consider going forward. Simultaneously, Animal says, listen, Love Hendricks, Rich Larson, get these guys out of here. I'm ready to move up the card. Give me some of the members of For the People. Let them come out here. Let me show what I can do to some of the upper end folks and how I can put them in their place. Rich, I'll see you again soon, but don't expect that I'm going to go any easier on you.
Yeah, no, I think Rich Larson has a hill to climb. It's certainly not the start to the feud that you wanted. It's not going to get any benefit from this match. It is funny, right? Like, you've done so many special referee matches. It has been a long time since we have seen a negative effect from a special referee match. But, you roll the dice enough times and you're going to get there. You do get the holy shit moment, Animal spitting in Rich Larson's face. You do love to see that. But yeah, I think certainly from a long-term storytelling perspective, I think continuing to let him get the nod here goes well. And I look forward to seeing what you do with both of these competitors. But we move on now to another special referee match. This time, Kaiman Nomura is overseeing a match between Yuji Onishi and Blue Arrow. What brings these two together?
Yeah, so bear in mind, these guys are in the same faction. Now, this feud has been going on since before Juge was, originated. And it's really a kind of a posturing match because, Blue Arrow and his brother, Green Arrow, they have one identity for where this needs to go. Meanwhile, Yuji, who has traditionally been aligned with, Kaiman because of their tag, they have a little bit different ideas. That being said, this is really just a friendly contest. This is these two guys saying, hey, no matter what, at the end of the day, we respect the hell out of each other. All right. But we're going to see who gets the upper hand here because it might determine which way we go with how we create our designs on both the future tag matches and the future solo matches for how we want Juge to start taking over this promotion. So at the end of the day, this is sort of a battle for who's going to become, a louder voice within Juge, and which side of the faction, in terms of the two tags, is going to move forward. Now, Kaiman is here not to tip the scales in favor of Yuji. He is here to make sure these dudes remember that they're both members of Juge and remember that they have to put on a hype match where they're both going to make the faction look good. So he's really just here to keep it clean and ensure that if something goes wrong a little early, maybe he extends the match a little bit somehow. Maybe he doesn't call that pin quite so quick. Maybe he gives someone an opportunity to recover so that way this match could be as hype as possible.
I will say you've used special referees in a lot of different ways in a lot of different contexts. And I do think there's a lot to love about that storytelling, but this might be my favorite. That's just someone who's like, I'm not here to put my foot on the scale. I'm not even really here to just to take in and maybe scout out some future thing. I'm here because I want these two to put on a banger, and I'm willing to manipulate things to make this match better. I really hope
100%.
I really hope that the score reflects that, because in
I hope so
universe,
too.
I think that's awesome. Who do you give the win to, buddy?
It's gonna be Yuji Onishi tonight. Yuji finally getting that big win. And Blue Arrow was the favorite coming into this. Blue Arrow's been a consummate professional. But Yuji just having a slightly better performance tonight. And when it came down to it, the match getting extended, everything going the right way. Kaiman, when Yuji gets on top, says, "All right, this is it. We've done what we needed to do here. You both look like rock stars, but Yuji, you're getting the win tonight."
Yeah, and it's a nice one. It's a 4.5 star victory here. Full of action. I'd like to imagine in universe Kaiman made sure it went on long enough to get that full of action bonus.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a holy shit moment. So he did his job. Yuji Onishi hitting Blue Arrow with a lariat that knocked his head off. You love to see that. And honestly, I love to see Yuji Onishi. He is a 4-4. Getting him into main event status, I think. I'm not going to say long overdue, because that implies that you did something wrong by not getting him here before this point. But I am going to say that I love seeing him here in the main event. I think you're going to be very happy to have him as a tool in the kit as you prepare for some of these very popular heels that you have in your promotion.
100%.
Come down. But now we have a top talent feud between Chaos Reigns and Vinland Saga. Now, this is a fascinating one, right? Because we saw Sebastian Chaos recently make quite the change, and it is now. I mean, they're at a Dick's Sporting Goods brawl match. I mean, walk us through it. What are the fans seeing in front of us here?
Okay, so let's get to the faction aspect of this first and foremost. All right, you have the only two remaining faces in Conquest or Death. All right, the two faces that everyone loves, that have been holding it down as essentially the make or break tag team for anyone that wants to move from that upper mid card to that main event status, that have consistently also been featured in a number of tag matches, whether it's a number of matches for belts, whether it's the tag belt, the cruiserweight belt, the lightweight men's belt, the Return to Glory belt. These guys have had a hand in it all. All right, they are the lowest popularity members of Conquest or Death, which they're still at that main event cusp, which tells you how powerful that faction is. And they are up against two core members of Burn It All Down. All right, not even close to the lowest members. These guys are on the upper end, mid end of, Krieger's a little bit on the lower end, but they're on the mid end. And Krieger has really been more of a manager these days. But he is still a great tag performer. Okay, someone who has, a lot of talent. And here's what happens: Vinland Saga, they're going on vacation. Okay, Johnny Hangtime said, "Hey, you guys have been doing great. All right, you guys have been doing phenomenal. You get to go on vacation. Go take a little break. All right, take the week off going into the pay-per-view." And Vinland Saga, they're at Dick's Sporting Goods. Okay, in true Viking fashion, they're looking for a new canoe, and they find one, and they say, "Hey, you know what? This looks great. We don't want to have to go out and build our own. We don't have that much time for vacation. All right. We want to take that extra time to really just lounge out, enjoy ourselves. But we're going to canoe out to some small island, set up a campfire, do some fishing, and have a good time." And while they're in the checkout, who shows up? None other than Krieger and Sebastian Chaos. And they say, "Going on vacation? This is an ambush, boys, and we're here to beat you down. You're not going to have a vacation. You're going to have a broken face." Okay? And that's how this match starts.
I mean, I honestly, just rude from Chaos Reigns. I know Burn It All Down being called rude is not really a thing that they're going to ever take into consideration. But I'm just saying, I want to go watch the segment in which the Vinland Saga just goes canoeing. Just on a nice little afternoon stroll as a video package. I'm just saying, you can make that video package, and I would watch it.
And I might, now that you've mentioned it.
But I mean, look, Burn It All Down has been on such a roll. I can't imagine, as much as I love Vinland Saga, and I think they've done such good work. I mean, could it be possible for Vinland Saga to secure a win in this spot?
So you got to remember one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Vinland Saga had the canoe.
Yes.
And because of that, they are able to drop one of the members of Chaos Reigns instantly. And they put themselves in a 2-on-1 position in this brawl, and they just absolutely beat Sebastian Chaos to the ground after Krieger goes down quickly. And it is, of course, going to be Vinland Saga getting a win.
You'll love to see it. That gets Vinland Saga into the main event, which, given how hard Bear Winters and Wolf Klein have been working, I do love to see that. The fans have got to be thrilled that Vinland Saga finally securing a W. Everyone's favorite Viking duo getting the nod. A nice little overness boost for Krieger and Sebastian Chaos as well, which is great to see. It's a 4.25-star match. It's a hot match. And it leads to a holy shit moment as Wolf Klein and Sebastian Chaos started a battle of the forearms before kicking each other's heads off. So that all went very well. Your decision to keep using sponsors for these brawl segments has really gone off without a hitch. It's you are now one good brawl away from having that as a gold gimmick to work through. So good job on that front, and congrats to Vinland Saga. I'm very happy to see Bear and Wolf get a win here.
This match brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods.
Oh my goodness. Well, right now we've got a very different match. Krieger, of course, I guess nursing his wounds. I don't know how he got from the Dick's Sporting Goods all the way back over to be Vince Rivera's manager for this. Perhaps it was a pre-recorded segment of
it was a pre-recorded segment. That's what we're going with.
Yeah, so Krieger's here with Vince Rivera versus Serpentine Suprema. What brings this match together?
Yeah, listen, you can see Krieger. He's got a bandage over his head. Okay, that canoe did a number on this guy's skull. All right, but meanwhile, you've got Vince Rivera and Serpentine Suprema. Okay, two big forces within their faction. Vince, of course, in Burn It All Down, which is why Krieger is present. Now, meanwhile, you've got Serpentine Suprema, who was a guy that was on a pretty notable tear that has kind of been stymied lately. But he is a member of Brigantia Rising. And he has been a core representative, especially in those solo matches. He's not wearing the Triple Glory belt because he's not in Brigantia, the trio, the trio tag team. He is essentially the main solo artist, if you will, within Brigantia. And again, up until most recently, he was on a hot streak. He was doing really well. He was climbing up the card as that notable face. But it's really been a matter of members of Burn It All Down and members of Conquest or Death getting in his way, trying to keep him down, trying to stop him. And even when there have been For the People, in the promotion, because of their differences, they want nothing to do with this guy. So Serpentine has been in a lot of matches with the three core factions as the solo guy for Brigantia, right? And just hasn't been able to get anything going. So he said, you know what? Give me a one-on-one shot. I know Vince is a super talented wrestler, but he looks beatable right now. He's lost a ton of matches recently. I think I can pull off a win here. I think I can make Burn It All Down look bad despite how hot they are. And I think I can raise the profile of Brigantia and do it on a super notable match.
Yeah, I mean, I love Serpentine Suprema. I have not been shy about that in the past. So I'd love to see him get a win here. I know you, and I know that a 5-loss streak for a guy like Vince is something that you certainly don't overlook. It's something that I know matters. But I also feel like given how many talented heels you have, I imagine getting Serpentine over does more for you than giving Vince a win. Am I right in that assertion?
So I'll tell you, you're right about the game mechanics. Okay,
Uh-huh.
you are absolutely right about the game mechanics. It's not why the decision happens tonight. All right, but Serpentine does win. Okay, however, the most notable part of this win, all right, is more so that Brigantia really want to push somebody up. They want to do it in the solo matches. They've been doing great in the trios. But as you've seen, Briganti have struggled in some of these other guys have been struggling in the solos. Serpentine has been the bright spot, and they want him to succeed every way possible. They've been sitting down with him, helping, drafting plans for the best way to do it, and their planning goes off without a hitch tonight. Vince Rivera was the right guy to target. Serpentine comes out with a big win.
That's a big win. An 8% overness boost for Serpentine means he is. Oh, wait. No. What? How? Oh, you know why? Because the boost from Brigantia Rising. He got the 4
Oh!
points there, and then the 8 points from this going hot and being a great match. That gets Serpentine Suprema to a 4-4. So it all worked out in the end, Xander. It was all
Oh
worth
my
it.
gosh.
Danny
It
Cole
was
not
all
being in Brigantia was so worth.
calculated question mark? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna pretend. That's just awesome. It's so great. What a
The,
fantastic thing to have happened tonight.
and now Serpentine Suprema is a 4-4. And also a holy shit moment. Serpentine Suprema about to hit Vince with a finisher before they both collapse from exhaustion. That's huge. That's 4 holy shit moments in a row. We didn't even talk about earlier the blue
Oh
arrow
well, yeah,
Zuzu
that
being
was
blown
also
off
a
for a
feud blow
5.
off, yes,
Yeah.
because those two, like I said, but that I kind of insinuated that with the dialogue, but
Yeah.
yes, that was a
I
good
well,
one.
I just hadn't seen the 5 stars, which you have to love.
Oh yes, yes, I
And
do.
but like,
Can we check real quick before
uh-huh.
we go over this? Can we see how the faction rep is doing here with Brigantia now that they also just got another?
Another hot member. It was another plus 20, so they're at 34, plus 34 on the night. We need a little bit more to get to rep 6, but they certainly are on the rise here.
Love it,
Very nice
love
to
it.
see. But yeah, congratulations, Serpentine Suprema. That gets you someone who, again, because of the popularity boost from the segment as well, 900 popularity. That's a big threshold.
Yeah, and Vince still has a great performance, so he goes up too, which we love.
Yeah. It's truly a win-win situation in a very well put together match. But we have to move on to a triple threat first blood match. Krieger getting so much work in tonight on camera. Saki Slab, Kaiman Nomura, who we saw as a guest referee earlier tonight, and Sho Fujino. What brings this triple threat first blood match to fruition?
Yeah, so again, we've got Saki Slab, right, who is essentially the most um the most desired non-faction guy right now. Him and Dietrich Mullen are the top two for factionless folks that are up near the top here that have been in the most hype matches, the highest end matches. Very very desirable. And so naturally, we've got a headhunting feud first and foremost. Okay. When you take a look at that headhunting feud, it should show Kaiman Nomura headhunting Saki Slab here.
That's true.
Kaiman says, "Hey Saki, listen, you did a little bit of time in one of the Japanese promotions, all right? Even though you've done most of your time here in the U.S., but because of that, Juge is the right faction for you. You don't see it yet, but we're the right faction for you. We want to bring you in. We want to show you what we could do if we had another talented wrestler like yourself able to make some big moves." Now, on the other side of this, you got Sho Fujino. And Sho says, join a faction. Forget this. This guy's garbage. I want this guy put back into his place. This guy's a main eventer. He should be an upper mid carder. Hell,
Wow.
he should be a lower mid carder.
Wow.
And what I'm gonna do is make sure he's on his way down there. And naturally, Krieger is honestly exhausted. I mean, Krieger has been beaten to a pulp. Krieger is basically just here to give the slightest moral support for Sho. But in all honesty, with how he looks, he's actually making Burnall down look bad tonight.
Wow.
And we'll have to see if that theme continues with this match. What do you think happens?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, I like Sho Fujino, but I don't think tonight needs to be his night. He just got a win recently at that 100% morale. I feel like you can be okay in either direction on that particular front. So I don't think it's going to him. I think it is between Kaiman and Saki. And again, I hate to gameplay it up too much, but I do believe that Saki Slab at 805 popularity, a win for him solidifies him in this tier, stops a 3-loss streak. Kaiman Nomura, he's gotten a win recently. He's a 4-4 with 100 morale. Like, both of these guys can take a hit. Saki taking a hit might be tough. So I think you gave it to Saki.
Yes, it does go to Saki tonight. I will say, though, not for the gameplay. Even though that did end up being a beneficial factor here because he does need to keep that popularity. But in all honesty, Saki is demonstrating that he's saying, listen, Dietrich isn't the only guy that's factionless that can win. All right. I can win too. And I'm here to remind you guys that factions are not the end all be all, despite having a huge, identity within this promotion. Some of us factionless guys are going to stay talented. We're going to move our way up the card, and we're going to be able to challenge the biggest faction leaders no matter what because of our own merit, our own talent, and doing it by ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, that's, I mean, Saki clearly proving himself so far. We will see how long that lasts. A lot of these factions putting their finger on the, on the scale, making sure that they have the right referee in the right situation. It's one thing to win with a neutral ref here, and it is a huge win for Saki. Huge overness boost, huge popularity boost. It's a hot match, so everybody gets a boost, and it's a 5-star match, which I'm sure you're very excited to see.
Yep.
And it's
I
a
also
holy
love
shit
another
moment.
holy shit
Saki
moment.
Slab kicking out of that finisher. Um, a great moment for Saki just across the board. But there was no special referee here. And we will see if Saki can continue to resist the pull of Kaima Nomura when those special referee matches inevitably come to pass. But you have one more close for the night. Um, and it is between Eric Hangtime and Alexis Kovac in what is known as a faction future feud. Talk me through this feud and what brings these two men together in an Iron Man match, because I believe this is the first time they've gone head to head.
It is. It is the first time they've gone head to head, but there's good reason. Okay. Eric has been essentially doing everything he can to posture himself as the next leader of, Conquest or Death. And he's looking at who he can challenge right now in the way that will set him up the most successfully. Given his position as essentially the number 2 or arguably even number 3 now, pushed down because of his brother's decision making, he wants to go after the guy that he sees as the most related to him. Because Eric's saying, listen, anytime I go after an Alex Jim, anytime I go after my brother right now, Johnny is doing everything in his power to get in the way, not let me have a moment, not let me breathe. But Eric says, you know what? If I go after Alexis, I bet my brother looks at this and says, this makes Conquest or Death look good, and I don't need to step on him right now. And Eric's right, because Alexis, he had a moment there where he was about to be face of the company and lost, of course, that match with Emily Everett coming in and giving him the beatdown. Now, Alexis is saying, on the other hand, I want to be the future of For the People. I see myself as the number 2. I see myself as the one that's going to be able to further this, especially now that Alex Jim has lost his belt. I think I could even be the main guy, the future of my faction. So both of them identify as the faction futures. They identify themselves as the number 2 or number 3 people in their faction who have the best opportunity at this moment in time to rise to the top. But they know that these are going to be, when they're looking across the mat, the person that they're going to see the most. Okay? Both of them believe that they're the guy to do it for their faction, but they also respect each other, as the potential leaders of the other side. And they both think that it's their opportunity to make a statement here, and whoever wins this might not just get the faction lead, but might become the emperor.
It's the stakes are very clear here, and it's an interesting dichotomy. I want to give love to Alexis Kovac, right? Because I think Hueso de Cabra has recently become a full-time manager, right? I don't think he's been Alexis's manager for the entirety of his time with this promotion.
Nope, it's
And
very recent.
and so I'd like to think that that's the thing that turns Alexis around, right? That with Alex Jim falling, Alexis Kovac can be on the rise, can get a win here, and be in a great spot. But the last couple of times I've made predictions, I've been much more gameplay focused because the narratives, I'm still trying to get a read on you. But this is a narrative I feel very confident in where my read is going. So I'm not going to guess based off of gameplay mechanics here, though I think I could. Instead, I'm going to say that the Hang Time Civil War is coming. You have been very clear about that. And in a Glory of Gold pay-per-view, Eric Hangtime's gimmick is literally above the gold. everything about the hang times is gold themed. You gotta boost Eric before this pay-per-view, right? Like that's
You're
just
damn right. You're
there we
damn.
go.
I'm not gonna pretend you read it perfectly. It is Eric Hang time getting that push. He's on his way to becoming a main a face of the company again, and it's gonna be a big deal. It's gonna be a really big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a 4.5 star match. It does get Eric Hangtime into potential face of the company range, which is nice to see. We'll see if he's able to build on that. It is another holy shit moment. Eric Hangtime hitting Alexis with a lariat that knocked his head off. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holy shit moments in a single weekly card. So
And how many matches? Because I think I had two segments too,
I
or I
believe
had
you
a
had 2 segments.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Yep.
6
So
out of 7 had a holy shit moment. That is correct.
yep.
Everything since the first match of the night has had a holy shit moment. And yeah, I mean, look, a lot to love from this weekly. I think you put together a great show. It is another 4.5 star, which all three of you, our competitors tonight, have gotten 4.5 stars. But I imagine from a hype perspective, I think this might be the highest of the three. I know it's higher than Walter, which is not great for a sign for the fan flow that might be coming in. But Eduardo, I'd have to go back and check the record. But I think that you've done a great job of building up, especially the stuff with Brigantia Rising and getting Serpentine Suprema to be over, getting Love Hendricks to be over, getting Cassidy to be over. That is a lot of tools you have given yourself, and you have to be feeling damn good about that.
Oh yeah, no. Listen, like I said, there were a couple things we maybe would have done differently if we were still pushing here to get the point win overall tonight, which I think is almost guaranteedly going to go to you unless there's an absolute tragedy on your promotion on your card right now.
Yeah.
But with that shift, we saw a lot of opportunity. We got a lot of talented wrestlers. A whole bunch went over, and like you're seeing those lower end factions, they're making their way up, and they're going to be a lot more of a force to be reckoned with for the mainstays of our promotion, which we love because faction feuds are one thing that Gloria Legends cannot get enough of, and there will be more to come soon.
That's absolutely true. You have proven time and again how to use those to get big hype at pay-per-views. That's where you have had your best performances, and that is where we'll have to wait and see how those come together. But we do close with me, and yes, I would have to get a 3.75 star card to be a 4-way tie, and I think I've done better than that. But as for
Here's to hoping you did it.
yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, that's fair. I think I suffered enough with Viuda Negra, who I had big plans for, getting a herniated disc that will have her out for 6 to 12 months.
in before 2 more injuries.
Again, if you're gonna give me the injury, just have it be somebody who's like 80% fatigue, right? Like make me earn it. That's all I ask.
I'm just saying, Magic Missiles injury number 2 incoming.
God, that would be so funny given that this is an injury revenge blow-off match tonight.
Wouldn't it just be the funniest possible thing that could happen for everyone not named you?
We're gonna. I mean, look, it's gonna be an interesting show because there's definitely some reshuffling of a couple chairs that were meant to be settled as per last week. But I am excited to show everyone here what I've got planned, and we're just gonna jump in and see how the magically enhanced wrestling promotion sets the stage for life or death, and it starts with a tag elimination match between No Bullshit and 2 members of Liquid Steel, Jay Xavier and LT Barone. LT Barone, of course, has been rocketing up the card recently as an individual, while Hideo Dado has been kind of falling a bit. He hasn't fallen to upper mid-card status, but he is certainly not where he used to be as an individual wrestler. And that feud kind of builds on the feud that No Bullshit and Liquid Steel have had for a while now, right? These are the Southern Sentries and Eastern Elite. Have been feuding on and off for a while now. They were the big feud at the first gold pay-per-view, Mana Unleashed, was the last time we really saw these two go head-to-head. But, it's no surprise that No Bullshit is here looking for this match, right? They're tired of being slept on as the second best tag team in the Northern Nightmare. And Liquid Steel, they were the Trios champions up until Out of This World finally took them out at the last pay-per-view. This would be a big win for them if they were to grab it. But, LT Barone, like I said, he's been on the rise ever since he got his fun-loving game dev gimmick. The fans have been all over him. And Jay Xavier hot off a win in a submission match against another member of the Southern Sentries, Bryce Dannenberg, last week. So, a lot of momentum here on either side. Who do you think I gave the nod to?
Yeah, I mean, again, there is a lot of momentum here on both sides, but I think it's No Bullshit. They've got more experience. They really need a win. They're on that 0-7 streak. I'd like to see them take the win here.
Yeah, that record looks real bad at 1-10. And it's largely because they've been in a lot of like multi-man title matches, right? Like they've never held the tag title, but they've competed in a lot of those matches. But yeah, they need to prove themselves here. And if they're going to be taken seriously as a tag, they need to win. And you are absolutely right. They are getting the win tonight. It's a 4 3/4 star match. I got a couple bonuses here that I'm happy with. I hate to see a minus in overness for a couple people in Liquid Steel. I imagine just because they were title holders very recently that losing to a 1-10 team hurts a little bit. But, Liquid Steel are a trio, and No Bullshit, the duo here, showing what they're capable of. It's a nice win here, and we'll see LT Barone and Hideo Dato how that singles feud plays out, perhaps in future matches. But I'll take a 4 3/4 star.
Looking forward to it. But also, congrats, you win.
Well, Life or Death didn't go quite the way I wanted as far as the event package, but this package highlights a lot of matches, right? We've got Duka Igarashi versus Ariana Black, La Bestia del Infierno versus Ashton Nieves. Flying High is going to go up against Emu Amikio, and it would have been Viuda Negra, but now it's a question mark as to who will be joining Emu as part of the Scourge of the Underdark's new tag team. And of course, El Muerte Blanco in a blow-off match against Prince Pretty Pink for the Flame Warlock title. The only thing that's still yet to really be determined is who is going to be fighting for the Sorcerer Supreme title. Because Fishbone has not had any new rival emerge since Derek Nash was defeated at the last pay-per-view. Bonds of Destiny ended that feud. And, Arsenico has feuded on and off with Fishbone, but Arsenico has the Oracle's Elixir cash-in. There's no need for him to go head-to-head against Fishbone in a straight fight if he wants to win the title. So, who's he going to fight? We're going to have to find out. Maybe by the end of the show, we'll have an answer to that question.
Maybe. Probably not, but maybe.
It would be really funny. It's like, actually, Sorcerer Supreme just isn't being defended at the pay-per-view.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just, Life or Death just doesn't have one of those. But we move on for now to another match between... this is a Southern Sentries and Western Watch match. Gerudo versus Miracle Oda. Both of these guys have yet to get a win in singles competition. Miracle Oda, of course, meant to be the tag partner of El Rey Loco. And without him, since he has been injured for as long as he has been, it has left Miracle feeling a little bit adrift, a little bit maybe out of pace with the rest of his faction. He did not leave when everyone else did, despite being, presumably quite loyal to El Rey Loco. Not sure how El Rey Loco feels about that. We'll have to see when he makes his return. But, he's clearly trying to find himself. And Gerudo needs to find himself as an individual, right? We've seen Hylian Cross get a little bit of a boost recently, largely because Ezekiel Cross, his tag team member, has gone out and had some single successes. Ezekiel Cross getting a 6-way tables match victory at Bonds of Destiny was a huge boost for him. And Gerudo is watching his tag partner go off and do great things, and he has yet to prove himself in this regard. These two have been in multiple matches together. They've always been multi-man matches, and neither of them have ever gotten a win, but this is the first time that it's just the two of them in the ring. Xander, which of these two? Both desperately need the win. Both on the verge of falling down if they don't get the W.
Oh my God, I don't know. I think it's got to be Gerudo. I think you're risking it either way here, but like if the match is just halfway decent, then Miracle also doesn't fall down. Is my only thought here, because I think narratively either of them winning is good. You can push it either way. This is their first time in like the actual one-on-one. It's a tables match. I'm not sure what the big match specialist difference on the two of them is here. Maybe that would factor into your decision making.
They're both
okay. They both have it. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah. Again, I mean, I'm probably just giving it to Gerudo here. It's guaranteed pretty much, unless the match is hot, that if you give it to Miracle, that Gerudo falls down. And if you give it to Gerudo here, it's not guaranteed. It's a little more coin flippy, but maybe still not great. But I would give it to Gerudo. That's who I'm giving it to. You give it to the Slayer. I think his narrative is just a little bit cooler than Miracle's.
So here's the thing. You're right with an asterisk.
Okay.
Because it turns out, wait, does this, no, we're going to use a distraction here, because Gerudo is not alone. His tag partner is going to come out and give him just enough of a distraction, just enough of a benefit to edge out Miracle Oda and secure the W here tonight. It is going to cost half a star, so it's only a 3 3/4 star match. I may not have gone that angle if I wasn't feeling relatively comfortable with where these weeklies are, but it does allow for some very interesting narratives, right? Gerudo still hasn't proven he can win on his own. He's getting one in the win column here, but it is because Ezekiel, who is on the rise, was there to bail him out. Will his tag partner always be there? Will Gerudo eventually become jaded and frustrated that Ezekiel seems to be the only one who can get success of the two? Time will have to tell. But for now, Miracle Oda, he will not drop below the 800 mark. So the distraction did work for that purpose. And it will be very, very interesting to see how he bounces back without El Rey Loco in his corner. Because if El Rey Loco was there, this never would have happened.
Yeah. I mean, I see one guy that I have to root for here, right? I hear what you're saying, but there's only one guy that can win, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah. Can I do the lead for this match before you tell me why Lucas is gonna win?
No, I'm just kidding. Yes, of course. Sorry, I just had to jump in there because I just need it to be known. All right, I didn't root for him one time. That's it. Every other time I've rooted for him, you know where I'm going with this. So do the lead in, talk about the narrative. By all means, build it up. But I just had it to be known. Don't ask me. You know the answer. Okay, that's all.
Yeah, so, I mean, look, the Southern Sentries, Alpha Jackson, the second in command for that faction, but actually the highest rated member when it comes to popularity of the Southern Sentries, the peak of masculinity. He believes, hey, I should be given more power. I should be given more responsibility to lead this faction, and have my, Victor, you and I should be working together more thoroughly here. And Victor told him, look, you want to be given more power? Take care of business. You're going to go up against Lucas Meltzer here. Lucas Meltzer, of course, rapidly elevated to second in command of the Western Watch under Prince Pretty Pink. After several members left, he was the one who stepped up and has been trying to prove himself in that role in this zero to hero story. But it's a lot of pressure for a young talent like Lucas Meltzer to be able to step in and immediately be everything that the Western Watch needs, especially as Prince Pretty Pink himself is reeling from his defeat at Bonds of Destiny, where he lost his Flame Warlock title. So the question becomes, can Lucas Meltzer rally and fend off a hungry Alpha Jackson, or does the peak of masculinity prove himself tonight?
I told you not to ask me. There's only one answer.
I did. And you know that I'm not clicking the button you want me to, right?
I know, but yeah. I don't care, okay?
It's okay. It's a 4.5-star match. Alpha Jackson, he's on a hot streak, and I've got big plans, let's just say. Big plans for Alpha that require him to continue to do well here. It is going to be my first holy shit moment of the night. Alpha Jackson hitting Lucas Meltzer with his finisher off the top rope is great to see. The crowd definitely seems interested in the two of them going back and forth. And certainly, Lucas, it is a minor step back, but he has taken multiple steps forward with this new position as the second in command for the Western Watch. And this should not be seen in any way as a condemnation of his potential or where he is going or the plans I have for this guy. It's just going to take him a little bit of a while to get there, especially if guys like Alpha Jackson, the peak of masculinity in the Southern Centuries, is standing in his way. But here's the thing, Xander, we're cutting backstage, and ignore that you can already see the other person on the screen, because Victor Magnus seems to be clearly looking for a fight, despite not being on the card tonight. He's been feuding with Yellow Arrow, who we just saw the Southern Centuries have been fighting the Western Watch tonight. Jay Xavier, would be an easy target, someone he's also been feuding with. Because he believes that Jay is not deserving of the attention that he has been given. Jackson Hall, of course, of the Northern Nightmare. He's been feuding there, trying to prove that the Southern Centuries are a superior faction. But of course, now that Jackson Hall is a member of the Hellfire Club, who knows if Victor Magnus still feels the need to take him out. But none of those are who he's going after tonight. Instead, Victor Magnus is attacking Fishbone in a surprise attack backstage. Fishbone just about to get on the mic and talk about how he needs a contender. He needs someone who's willing to fight him. And Victor, before he could even finish that sentence, gives him one heck of a fight. Tells Fishbone the Fishbone's not worthy of being the Sorcerer Supreme, and that the Eastern Elite cannot stand up to the power of the Southern Centuries, and he's going to prove it at life or death.
I love it. I love the narrative here. I would have called Victor happily, if I was given a choice. You asked me the one I tell you not to ask me, and then you don't give me a chance to answer.
Well, no, this is a segment. This isn't a...
I know, but I wanted to talk about my feeling on the segment before you click the button. Okay, that's all.
I'm sorry. You're right. That's
okay.
on me.
It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. I'll forgive you this time, and not next time. Next time, I'm going to hope that you break your elbow.
Well, I appreciate the warning.
But no, I love it. I think Victor coming out, putting the hurt onto Fishbone is huge. Victor is someone that I have had a lot of feelings about whenever you give me the opportunity to voice, whether it's very pro Victor or very anti Victor, depending on the situation. But this is one of those times where I think it makes a lot of sense for Victor to come out here, drop kick Fishbone, and especially with where Fishbone's at right now, and build some good storyline for that faction leader that is Victor Magnus.
Yes. Victor certainly needs to prove himself as Alpha Jackson climbs up the card. Perhaps an answer to Alpha Jackson saying, oh, you want to try to challenge me and my authority? Well, I'm going to take out the biggest guy in the company, because if I become Sorcerer Supreme, no one can step to me. I also love this segment kicks off the feud. It's already at 74 hype. So Very happy to see that's going to give me something to work with at this next pay-per-view. But
100%.
we move on to a triple threat street fight match between Monty Hendricks, Gavin Smith, and Bryson Pierce. Now, Monty and Gavin have had a lot of matches together, but they've all been these King of the Thunderdome multi-man matches, right? Monty was the first guy to hold the King of the Thunderdome, lost it to Ashton Nieves, and then the two of them did a lot of losing to Ashton Nieves ever since Firestorm. But Gavin has kind of been pulling back, trying to focus on other feuds. He got his first one-on-one win against Ryu Otake, and, you know, is known to be extreme in his own right. This is the kind of street fight match that he feels very comfortable with, but he hasn't really fought Monty since Monty's had this huge string of matches against Ashton Nieves one-on-one. And sure, Monty lost that feud, but that's one heck of a competitor to grind against and get experience against. But as I was putting this together, Bryson Pierce comes into my office and goes, "Excuse me, I deserve my chance to fight Gavin Smith as well, because I have been climbing up the card ever since Prince Pretty Pink took over. I have made a massive boost within the Western Watch, right? I have proven that I am not the guy who fell from grace that Gavin made me out to be. And ever since I've been doing better, Gavin, after talking all this shit, has avoided me every step of the way. So just give me a chance to be in this match, and I will show him why he should never have crossed me." And I said, you know what? That sounds pretty fun to me. We're going to make it a triple threat. Monty, Gavin, and Bryson here. Xander, who do you think I gave the nod to?
Monty Hendricks.
I
love Monty. I want Monty to win. That's it. I love Monty. I like he's on an 0-5 losing streak. Please give that man a win.
Yeah, he is getting a win. He's been winning with Ashton Nieves. Like, he has been forging himself against one of the best competitors in this company. No surprise that he's been able to take those lessons.
And
the
almost a face of the company.
Almost, man. It's a nice boost. Everybody gets a boost. Everyone, it's a hot match, 4 3/4 stars. No holy shit moment, but I'll take a hot match all the same.
You don't need it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll take it. I'll take it anyway. Look, I don't have any holy shit moments, okay? I'm low on funds. Yeah, I'm not going to get anyone who feels sympathy for me. I get it.
No sympathy. Zero.
But we move on. This is a Smack Talk segment. I will refer to you before I hit the button, but I will tell you what's about to play out here, because Ariana is coming to the ring and talking about how her tryouts have been a success. Emu Amikio taking care of business, did such a great job in her match, and is well on her way to being a face of the company again. And I mean, Viuda Negra, her loyalty that she showed me in that last Frost Witch Championship match has been incredible. And I am truly heartbroken that after her great win, convincing win against Tijuana King, she is injured. It is regrettable. And I hate that I have no choice but to let the winner of the next match tonight replace her as part of this tag duo. But this is why I have to take such a firm line, because when I draw the line, I get the best out of the women in my faction. And that's something that, Duca, you do not have the will to do. You do not have the confidence, the willingness to do what needs to be done, to be harsh in favor of getting better and doing better for the people around you. And Duca says, good leaders like Lorena Lucier take accountability when there's dissent in the faction, right? That's why she's fighting Tilly Cooper at the next pay-per-view, at Life or Death. She's willing to take this on and take accountability. And meanwhile, you have blamed all of your other members, right? It's everyone else not living up to your standard, not you failing to set them up for success. And you are going to sit here and say that you feel bad about Viuda Negra getting injured when the only reason that she's injured is because you made your members fight each other for nothing. You could have just made the tag team. You could have chosen who you wanted to get the nod. And instead, you had them fight. And now Viuda Negra is down, and you're acting like that's somehow not your fault. So, who do you think I
Oof.
give the smack talk to?
Man, this is so tough. I think Ariana wins it in the end, but I don't know. I would be so cool if you give it to Duca too. I'm either way. I'm happy here.
I gave it to Duca here.
Right on, right on,
And
right on.
there it
Very
is. It's
good.
a 5-star segment. The smack talk back and forth. I've been having a lot of fun with. That is now silver, thank goodness, which is going to increase the action. I don't know what that means, but I am happy about it. So I guess I'm glad that that's good. But yeah, I mean, it's it's a nice win here, and you can tell Ariana a little bit shaken, right? The only reason that she was able to maintain her title at Bonds of Destiny was Viuda Negra defending her from an attack that would have knocked her out at the last minute, sacrificing herself to buy Ariana time to reclaim the win. And now, because of Ariana's own schemes, Duke is not, or not Duke, Viuda's not there to save her at life or death. And we will see if that ends up being the difference maker. But that'll happen at the next pay-per-view. For now, we have to have that match to determine who will be teaming up with Emu Amikio to become a new tag team. And it is between Kagetsu and Skull Tabaka. Skull Tabaka obviously beaten, bruised, and had an ego hit from losing that street fight against Emu Amikio. And she has lost so many matches now, this 0-6 streak that she is on. She looks morally defeated, emotionally drained heading into this match. She thought it was over, right? Like, for all intents and purposes, her time in this faction seemed numbered just by losing the match last week. And Emu just seems like such a difficult opponent to overcome. But now she's been given one more chance. And it's against Kagetsu, who is 0-10, who has yet to secure a single victory in singles competition. But Kagetsu is not the same Kagetsu that Skull Tabaka knew. This is not the killer, the assassin, who was always ready and willing to try to take out her foes, but whose aggression was very easily subverted and used against her and constantly leading to defeat. No, no, no. Kagetsu has turned to the occult arts. This is the first time that she is getting to test these newfound magics that she has researched and is tapping into. Xander, do you think that's enough to get Kagetsu her first win in the promotion?
Man, I really hope so. I want to see Kagetsu get the dub here. I like 0-10, about to fall below main event. Had the Stoke occultist change. I really hope it's Kagetsu getting the win. I know Skull is not in a much better position, right? Um, but has had a win more recently. Is also a 4-3. That's 100-100. Can take the L here and be totally fine, and you're pushing Kagetsu up higher, getting her to be secured in that main event spot. And again, like there's been so much narrative built around Kagetsu lately that I'm really hoping Kagetsu gets the win.
Kagetsu is indeed getting the win here tonight. And it's a 4 3/4 star match. It's a nice overness and morale boost for her. Obviously, Skull Tabaka. It's a morale hit. It's hard to be 1-11, and
Yeah.
I don't feel great about that. But at the end of the day, it started an only monster feud between the two of them. No holy shit moments. I'm not allowed to have those tonight.
Nope.
I suppose the game is punishing me for all of the hits that y'all have been forced to endure over the last weeklies.
Exactly. I
But
definitely didn't call Mahin about this specific card.
I'm sure you didn't. But I'm sure Kagetsu is getting ready to call on some more dark gods to try to give her and Emu and Mikio the edge as they go up against Flying High at the title match at Life or Death to try to give the Scourge the Defenders of the Realm championship. Or Keepers of the Realm, excuse me. The Defenders of the Realm is where we're at right now. And it is a tag elimination match between the Magic Missiles and Highway Robbery. Because the Magic Missiles, this is a blow-off match. They've said, we are done fighting you, Highway Robbery. We have no intention of fighting you at a fourth consecutive pay-per-view when we have won at Chaos Controlled, Final Destination, and Bonds of Destiny. Red Arrow has overcome his injuries and proven he's only returned stronger than Highway Robbery could have imagined. It's over. We have the high ground. You need to let this go and let us move on to other competitors who are worth our time. And Highway Robbery, they're not over this loss streak that they're on. They went from being basically undefeated against everyone not named Magic Missiles to now being on a 3-loss streak, trying to find their footing. And, you know, neither Rob DiBiase or Connor Hansen are like big singles competitors, right? This is their last chance to secure the belt and ensure that they're even on the card at Life or Death and not risking being kept watching the event from the sidelines. So the stakes are clear. The stage is set. Xander, who do you think I gave the nod to?
I think. What's the fatigue for Magic Missiles? Can you just scroll? It's 1%.
1%.
Man, wouldn't it be a shame if Yellow Arrow?
Don't you put that curse on me, Ricky Bobby.
If Yellow Arrow pulled a hamstring at this event after having the most hype match that produces a holy shit moment, that would just be crazy, wouldn't it?
Why do you do this? Why are you like this? That's what I want to know. I know you're the heel. I get it.
I think Magic Missiles get the win. I'm sure you're fine.
Oh, thank goodness I am. Yeah, they do get the win. I got the interesting story boost. It's a 5.25 star match being duplicated. And it did blow off, thank goodness. It's a 5.25 star blow.
And you got the holy shit moment. You still got everything I said, just without the injury.
And there you go. It's a nice
good job
there.
Congrats on the win this week.
And it's a 4.75 star. So even if y'all had been tied for me going in, I managed to secure the W tonight. I managed to secure 14 points compared to everyone else's 13 in this set of weeklies, which puts the overall points standings, me at 6, you at 4, Eduardo at 3, assuming, of course, that we are... that everything in the point pay-per-views from the before time still stands. I know you're still working to figure out hype and figure out how we should be rescoring.
Hype actually should be accurate, just for the record. There's a lot of factors that go into it, so it should be accurate. We are not going to be recalculating hype. I'll tell you that much.
That is very fair. For now, though, we will talk about this particular episode. You can see I secured some fans. Everyone else lost some. You lost less than the rest here. Xander, it looks like Eduardo actually had the lowest hype out of all of our competitors here tonight. But that does put a close on this set of weeklies. It is now time to prepare for the 7th pay-per-view. It will be our 3rd silver pay-per-view of this competition. I am so excited to see what everyone has planned because unlike the weeklies, right, it's a fresh slate every time. Anybody can come out and put together the perfect card, get the perfect rolls on their scores, and secure the W. And I can't wait to see how it all comes together.
And importantly, we kick off the second half of this competition, which I think now that we've all learned the game, right? Mm-hmm. The second half of the pay-per-views are going to be hot. They're going to be very contested, and I can't wait.
Absolutely, positively, my friend. But for now, we wrap up here tonight. Where can the nice people at home find you?
Of course, folks, you can find me on all socials at Tentacle Coach. I do a bit of coaching, but more importantly, please go check out Brooklyn College Esports. That's at CUNYBC Esports. Go give them some love. We're doing a lot of winning, especially if you're a League of Legends fan. Valorant, we're doing a bit of losing, but we look good while we do it. And then, of course, we got Smash, Counter-Strike, and some Rocket League coming at you. So please go support them. Go support collegiate esports wherever you are, whoever's near you. And I appreciate all of you for enjoying our journey of wrestling, because it's been a blast doing it so far, and I can't wait for more.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely go give Brooklyn College some love. They've certainly earned it. And I look forward to seeing their season continue to play out. I, of course, look forward to the next stream on Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. The Pacific time. I think I just said specific time.
You did say specific time.
It is specifically at 6 p.m. Pacific time on Thursday, February 22nd. So be sure to be there to see the next set of matches go off live. You can find me, Chase Wassner, on B-Sky or on Twitter if you must. But would love to hear from you guys. Would love to hear your thoughts on any of these storylines, who you're rooting for. Do you have a favorite wrestler that you get mad every time that we click against them to give victories to their opponents? We love to hear from you. So thanks for watching. And until next time, goodbye, Internet.
Peace.